4077, or just Mike Reese, whatever you want to do. This is for Triune Fist System. This is the response video for Demzley, for Duane Demzley. Duane, thank you so much for having me on the show. I appreciate the chance to come out here and tell you a little bit more about me and a little bit more about Triune Fist System, or TFS for short. TFS is fine. First off, let's get in right to the questions. How long have I been in martial arts, and when did I first start? Well, I've been in for quite some time. I started when I was at the age of 4. Just had a birthday, so I've been in about 29 years. I've been training and studying for 29 years. It's, of course, you know, people don't want to take too hard on, well, you were 4 years old, whoop-de-doo. It was very interesting. I wanted to train, though. I wanted to train, and I wasn't able to train unless I could pay attention and do what the other kids were doing, the older kids were doing, because they wouldn't take anybody above the age of 8. I was the youngest one in class, but yet there I was, still performing and still doing the things the elder kids were doing. So, take that as it may. I always loved the martial arts, and I wanted to do it, and I became very proficient at it very quickly. So I've been in it for a very long time, and that's how it started. And what it was in was, I started in Aikido and Aikijutsu. Aikido was a lot more throws, a lot more momentum, a lot more what people would call soft martial arts or internal martial arts comparatively. Aikijutsu had a lot more locks, a lot more holds, a lot more, there was even more striking going on with Aikijutsu that I was taught than before. He was also a Shotokan teacher, so I got some Shotokan teachings when I turned 8. And then I also trained in American Kempo, went from the age 8 on up for like about 4 years or so before the school closed. So I've had some training in several areas, and I've actually had a lot of informal training in several different disciplines. So what is TFS? What is Triune Fist System? Triune Fist System is my personal made system based off of what it is. It's a reality-based martial art. It is a martial art that consists of all my training: Aikido, Aikijutsu, Shotokan, American Kempo, Jeet Kune Do, which I'm not even sure if the guy really knew Jeet Kune Do, but it works for me. And I also use a lot of references through that, which I'll get into that with my channels and stuff that I like, and books and all that after a while. But through a lot of things. Now, was I ever like certified in these? No. But did I get the training? Yes. I got a lot of different training, a lot of different things. TFS is all of my training compiled with first-hand experience, dealing with street encounters, dealing with basically life or death situations. I mean, I've actually had quite a few, and I've had to test these a lot of my skills on the streets, so I knew what didn't work and I knew what did work. You know, a lot of chucking out things actually happened, is what happened. So it consists of many different things. And it's still adding. I mean, I still compile my notes, evolve my system, and move on. It always is growing, and it's always improving. So that's what it does. So I really can't say that it consists of this, and this, because it consists of this, then I change this, and then I put this in, and well, then I'm going to add a little bit of this to complement this. It kind of just evolves around itself. It's that way I get better, and I can also give it onto my students who may have different physical difficulties that I don't have, that I can actually, they use parts of things that maybe I don't use. So I actually form my system around my person, okay, not the other way around, because we're not all physically the same. So that's one thing, and that's another thing you should expect from my system. It's not a system to where it's conformed the system around the person, but the system around the person, rephrase, it doesn't consist of the person going around and melding into the system, but the system melding onto the person. It actually envelops the person instead. That way they can get the right fit, because we're not all built the same. We don't all have the same strengths. We don't all have the same weaknesses. We don't all have the same abilities. That's just straight up the truth. So we just work on that. People should expect it. If people step into my class, when they actually learn what I teach, they actually see really fast. It goes off of instinct and brutality, and that's a lot of what I do. It's very strong in the beginning. It's a vicious start off. My reaction times is what I do for all my people is they react, and they do it very quickly and very mean. I want them to be very savage when they first start. Okay? When they start, and it's controlled rage, it's controlled violence, it's controlled chaos, but all in one thing. They learn how to handle all this. But I want them to act it out. I mean, as if they're just vicious, crazy animals. So you come to expect. You come into my class, and then you suddenly realize, okay, it's not just your formal martial art. It's not like your traditional styles and stuff like that. I'm different. I'm a little. Well, I'd say just modern. I'm modernized what I've learned. So, what martial arts would I like to study? I like to continue studying as many as possible. There's a ton of stuff out there. Baritsu, which is, I think it's how I say it, but it's the one that was showcased in Sherlock Holmes. It's the gentleman's art and stuff. I mean, I've seen Irish boxing. I've studied Savat, Lacane. I've studied a lot of that stuff, but putting it all together with the judo and the jiu-jitsu like he did, I was thinking, well, I could do the same thing. And it is similar to what I already kind of consist of, and it kind of the things that, say, Jeet Kune Do is actually kind of evolved into. And it's mainly because, I mean, it's very similar. I'm not going to say it's the same. I'm saying it's similar, okay? But it's great stuff, okay? I love the Kali. I love Silat. I love as much stuff as I can find with the Filipino and Indonesian arts. I mean, I consistently find more and more things that are out there that are, I mean, I love to learn. Actually, I'd love to actually have a study of pancratio, or pancration, as a lot of people, it's great. I would like to actually have a formal study in that. I'd like to study more of the African arts, because there's a lot of good African arts out there that are just, they're amazing to actually see. And I've looked up a few, and man, they have a great understanding of what it is. I think Jailhouse quotes. Well, I do have a quote. If you're not fighting back, you're a statistic. If you aren't taking initiative and you're not saying, hey, guess what? Guess you're going to be in the paper just as another one that got hit. So if you're not fighting back, you're a statistic. That's a quote of mine. That's only one quote of mine, but that's because I use quotes from other people too. But that one's one of mine that I like. I'm going to give 3 channels a shout out though. 3 ones that I like right offhand, and one of them is Key Fighting Concepts channel here. It's called Key Fighting. If you go on there, I'm going to actually leave the link for it too. I like Joseph Simonet and Natty Hernandez. Great stuff. Street Fighting Secrets, Richard Grannon. If a lot of people know who he is, and a lot of people know that channel. I still love his stuff. He deals with a lot of psychological sides of it. Being about ex-bouncer, you know, and everything. He's really he's a good teacher, and he knows a lot of different things that are good. The other one is Libra Fighting. You'll see the spelling and you'll understand why. I'm not really sure if it's Libre or Libra or whatever it is. But the Libra Fighting Academy, I've looked at their stuff. He goes into Piper, which is a South African knife fighting system. I think it's great. I looked at a lot of the stuff that he looked at for that, and he does a lot of Filipino stuff. Good channel. Those are 3 channels. I'm going to have to do a part 2 on this, so keep watching, okay?